Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. Welcome to the channel. Today's video, we're doing Boruto's Flying Raijin Explained. So, 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 16 just dropped. We're going to skip the breakdown for now. We're just going to go bit by bit, all the interesting pieces of the chapter, and this is going to be number 1. Boruto's Flying Thunder God, or Flying Raijin, the FTG, however you want to think about it. Boruto's Flying Raijin was taught to him by Kashin Koji during the time skip, sometime after Sasuke was sealed away. So we have this interval period between the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, then there's this in-between space, and then we have 2 Blue Vortex. And we've been getting flashbacks filling out the details of this in-between blank period. And this is probably the best material in 2 Blue Vortex. Now, we learned that in a parallel timeline, or some alternate future, a version of Boruto, who's probably like 20 to 21 years old, was able to manufacture his own variation of the Flying Raijin through years of trial and error. So during the flashback, Boruto's like 14-ish, and Kashin Koji says 6 years from now, you develop the Flying Raijin. So 20 to 21 years old. Now, just like the ability to fly, space-time ninjutsu is treated like another trivial ability that comes naturally to the Otsutsuki. Now, due to this affinity, Boruto is able to manufacture and replicate essentially the exact same results as the Flying Thunder God, which is obviously instantaneous movement. However, while the end result is exactly the same, the process of how you get there and the limitations on Boruto's version of the Flying Thunder God are completely different, which is why Kashin Koji says that Boruto doesn't actually know the real Flying Thunder God. His future self was merely inspired and paying homage to his grandfather, which is why they share the same name. Now, when it comes to how the two techniques actually differ, like I said before, the end result is the same, being instantaneous movement through teleportation. However, Boruto's Flying Raijin is considered to be inferior to the original in some aspects. So in this video, we're going to go over how the original Flying Thunder God works, how Boruto's variation of it works here in 2 Blue Vortex, and just some of the pros and cons of Boruto's technique, right? Now, in order to wrap the video up, I'll also throw in my own little theory about how Boruto's Flying Raijin will probably play a role in either defeating Ryu or saving Gaara or invading the Shinju dimension where they have the roots of the Divine Tree and everything. So stay tuned, you know. But for now, how does the Flying Thunder God traditionally work? Now, obviously made famous by Minato, created by Tobirama, but before using the Flying Raijin Jutsu, the user first has to mark their target with the Jutsu formula, or a formula tag, formula seal, however you want to think about that. The formula is applied through direct contact with solid objects. So you can't put a formula tag in the water or in the air. It has to be on a solid object, and it can't be removed by traditional means, right? The only way to really remove it is to become the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Potentially, maybe a Karma user could absorb the formula seal, who knows? But the Jutsu formula will remain intact even after the caster has died. There really is no limit to how many targets can be marked with the Jutsu formula, as Minato is seen using dozens of them. Users can instantly teleport to a Jutsu formula's location whenever they please, regardless of distance or different dimension, as the teleportation slips the user through a dimensional void. So they pass through basically a space-time barrier or a pocket dimension, popping out on the other side, wherever they please. Commonly, this jutsu is mixed up with the body flicker, since the anime likes to refer to the body flicker technique as the teleportation jutsu. The Flying Thunder God actually has more in common with the summoning technique, as the user is essentially summoning themselves to any other previously marked location, and this technique consumes an enormous amount of chakra. On top of being extremely difficult to pull off, chakra consumption, this jutsu is ranked as an S-class jutsu. Anyone that the user is in physical contact with or has been linked with the user's chakra can be teleported with them. but this does require additional chakra to do so. Massive objects require considerably more chakra to transport and can be placing limitations on how far away the user is actually able to teleport. Users of the Flying Raijin are also able to teleport objects or other people without teleporting themselves. So, I could just send you into the rim of a volcano and not have to go there myself. GG, battlefield removal. So, Minato and Tobirama have also combined other applications to the base Flying Raijin, like incorporating the jutsu into a ceiling barrier in order to redirect long-range attacks, just teleporting them somewhere else. And they're even able to swap places with each other, so if you have two Flying Raijin users, they can basically just pull Sasuke's Renegon ability. Now, that's the basic Flying Raijin, right? How does Boruto's work? So in 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 16, we get a flashback scene of Boruto and Kashin Koji training during some interval between after Sasuke was sealed away and after Boruto learned about Kashin Koji existing and knowing about omnipotence. So Kashin Koji tells Boruto that in a future timeline, Boruto would take inspiration from his grandfather and create his own imitation ninjutsu of the Flying Raijin. And by taking advantage of his natural affinity for space-time ninjutsu, thanks to his Otsutsuki Dna and their ability to just open up rifts and portals, he learned to produce nearly identical results to the Flying Raijin, although it's still different enough to be considered an entirely separate technique, and it comes with its own limitations. Boruto's version allows him to mold his chakra into metallic objects, allowing him to freely and instantly move wherever he chooses, by basically opening up space-time rifts from wherever he is to the metallic object. This is visually shown in the chapter. You can look at it here. Metal objects like his ninja tools and accessories were chosen as the medium due to their chakra conductivity. So mainly how most ninjas imbue their ninja tools and chakra, it appears that metal is some sort of substance that just can channel chakra better than other stuff, which is kind of a limitation. But teleportation is easier and more accurate when used on objects within Boruto's visual range. So if he can see the metallic object he wants to teleport to, it's pretty much instantaneous. There's no prep time, there's no thought process. But objects that are farther away require more concentration and focus. So if the object is, in a similar shape, or if he just throws like 15 different shuriken in different directions and they're all basically identical, it does become more of a challenge for Boruto to precisely pick the location he wants to teleport to, which is why Boruto has prepared a variety of metal objects with distinct shapes and unique designs that he could visualize in order to accurately teleport to his intended location, even over great distances or across space-time barriers. Now, thanks to Kashin Koji's prescience shinjutsu, he was able to accelerate Boruto's training time by telling Boruto all of the hurdles and shortcomings his future self had to go through in order to invent this new Flying Raijin. It originally would have taken Boruto about 6 years of trial and error before eventually mastering and discovering all of the limitations of this version of the jutsu. However, having Kashin Koji explain the basic theories behind how this works to Boruto was able to pull off this technique within the same conversation of him learning about it. So Boruto's obviously a prodigy, and this is going to be insane in the future because we don't know the full limitations of Boruto. That's a whole different video, but the fact that he was able to hear about it and in the same sit down pull off the jutsu he just learned about, which is instantaneous movement, teleportation, the boy is cracked. Now, obviously, the pros and cons of Boruto's Flying Raijin, right? So, while Boruto's version of the jutsu is stated to be an inferior replica of the actual Flying Raijin technique, the main pro to his variation of the jutsu is that his version takes advantage of the Otsutsuki affinity for space-time ninjutsu, which is why Boruto's Flying Raijin does not appear to be nearly as chakra depleting or taxing on his stamina as other space-time ninjutsu like the real Flying Raijin or Obito trying to Kamui into Kaguya's dimensions. As ever since its debut in Two Blue Vortex, this jutsu has become Boruto's go-to maneuver, and he's used it on numerous occasions throughout the story so far. And just like with the real Flying Thunder God, Boruto is completely capable of transporting other people with him, as shown when he rescued Himawari from Jura. He's able to travel to other space-time dimensions, like when he followed Code into the Ten Tails dimension, and he can use the jutsu to support his combative skills, like when he fought against Sage Mode Mitsuki. The only real con to Boruto's version is that he needs some sort of metallic object to mold his chakra into in order to create a teleportation marker. In order to travel vast distances, like other space-time dimensions, he does require those metallic objects to bear unique shapes and designs in order to differentiate his desired location, as well as time to actually concentrate and focus on where he's trying to teleport to. Since Boruto can't just mark any solid object with his chakra, like how the Flying Thunder God would work, to create those transportation markers, it requires a lot more prep time on Boruto's part in order to just pull off the jutsu or to travel vast distances, and his version of the jutsu does lack overall versatility to the Flying Thunder God, because I don't know how you're going to create a barrier ninjutsu by throwing a shuriken and teleport a Biju bomb somewhere else. Now, that's Boruto's Flying Raijin explained, with a direct comparison to the original framework of the OG Jutsu developed by Tobirama, made famous by Minato. However, I did say I would touch on how Boruto's Flying Raijin would potentially play a role in saving Gaara, or defeating Ryu, or invading the Shinju dimension. So here it is. In Two Blue Vortex Chapter 16, it ended with Team 7 linking up with Shinki's team in the Hidden Sand Village, and Kashin Koji directly instructed Shikamaru to deploy Team 7 there to be of an assistance. So we saw at the very end Ryu and Matsuri are very close to where Gaara is sealed away, and we know Ryu is trying to unseal Gaara so he can eat him and acquire more knowledge. Now, Ryu is the only one who can undo the Iron Sand Jutsu deployed by Shinki. At least that's what we think, since they have the same ability. However, it's entirely possible that the Iron Sand will be the key to rescuing Gaara, because we just learned Boruto's Flying Raijin is entirely dependent on having metallic substances to imbue his chakra into in order for him to use the Flying Raijin, right? So I see this going one of two ways. These are my predictions. A, either Boruto allows Team 7 to engage with the Shinju in order to keep Ryu distracted, since Matsuri will most likely get caught up in her desire to eat Konohamaru. Maybe Ryu's curious about that, and while that's happening, Boruto is able to teleport the seal that Gaara is trapped in far away, perhaps back to Konoha, maybe some other faraway location, far enough that the seal itself actually falls apart and they can rescue Gaara, right? Because if the Iron Sand works anything like Gaara's sand, if Gaara's far enough away, he can't control sand like kilometers away. Like, he's not controlling deserts on the other side of the world. Now, the other thing that I see happening is that Boruto shows up to support Team 7 in battle. He's unable to free Gaara from the seal. They're not able to seal him, but he is able to mark Ryu and or Shinki's Iron Sand in order to follow Ryu into the Shinju dimension, or at least have his way or give him access to the Shinju dimension in order to launch a surprise assault later in the story. Probably him and Kawaki, they go in there to destroy the roots of the Divine Tree, which is the source of the Thorn Souls, so they can't create new Shinju. And that's also the main way we see the Shinju recover from lethal damage. So either Ryu's going to be the problem maker here, because his Iron Sand is going to be Boruto's main connection to that dimension if Boruto's able to mark the Iron Sand with his chakra, meaning the whole Shinju dimension is at threat because one Uzuhiko in there could probably destroy it, or Boruto can teleport Gaara somewhere else and rescue him, so that way we don't lose out on, you know, another old gen character. But let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. This was Boruto's Flying Raijin Explained. I'm thinking about starting a second channel where we kind of go over things not just Boruto, like Marvel, the MCU, TV, comic books, cartoons, stuff like that. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Probably get that started around January of next year. So 2025, y'all. Have a nice day. Peace.